today's expert, CA Harish Vanan, a finance guru, an investment guru who understands finance in depth, who predicts. He's a stock market analyst. He invests in the markets. He's made money for his clients. Very soft-spoken. He doesn't speak much. He's a teacher by heart, and he has been coaching CA students. He has been coaching at Deutsche Bank, Society General. He's coaching the largest hedge fund in the world. He trains them on the markets, and he's kind enough to give us half an hour to talk about the Indian scenario. Welcome, Harish sir, with a namaste. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Anil sir. Thank you so much for inviting me. Good evening to all of you. I'll just continue from where Anil sir left off. So he mentioned why consumer price index is more important than wholesale price index, which is a very important point to note. Because
Harish sir, can I interrupt?
Sure.
Class, I stand corrected. My Annie George is there. I was slightly upset she was not there. She's very much there. So I want people who don't understand to attend these classes also, because then I enjoy it when you understand finance. Thank you, Mole. Sorry, sir. Please continue.
Sure. So yeah, as Anil sir said, in the past, Reserve Bank of India used to look at wholesale price index. The reason for that was till recently, till 2012 to be very specific, India did not have a good consumer price index. We did not really have a good basket to measure the consumer prices at a consumer level. RBI pushed for it, and now in 2012 we came out with a new index, which is now being used by RBI and Monetary Policy Committee for deciding what should be the interest rates. If you are interested to know about this consumer price index basket, this is the basket that it looks like for your information. So they split it into rural basket and urban basket separately. And every month on the 12th of the month, you will get the inflation number. Anil sir showed you a chart in his data, which is the CPI inflation number. So if you see there are enough weightages given, you should see the combined basket, because this is the basket which considers your India inflation. So you have your agricultural products, you have fruits, vegetables, sugar, spices, etc. Just to give you a perspective, 46% roughly of our inflation basket is food and beverages. 46%. It includes non-vegetarian food and items also. Like Anil sir said, is a vegetarian, but it also includes egg and meat and fish. You can see their weightages also. 46%. Now, what you have to always understand is what Anil sir said. Your consumption basket will not match my consumption basket. My consumption basket may not match the overall India's consumption basket, but this is an India level that you're talking about. You will get it in this website, by the way. It's a public document, MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, mospi.gov.in. You can see food and beverages, 46%. So a large part of our inflation is food prices. So when food prices go up because of, let's say, bad agriculture, the CPI will also go up, the consumer price index will go up. And don't forget, India is a poor country. So when CPI goes up, poor people are hurt the most. Then you have small weightages given to pan, tobacco, intoxicant, which many of us may not be consuming. Clothing, you can see that. Footwear. You can see housing, interestingly. 10% of the basket is housing.
Harish sir, class, wonderful. Can I have a clap? Because this person only talks with data. So all of you all can see how it hurts the common man. Right? And WhatsApp group side पे रखो बेटे. 8:30 को करते हैं class के बाद. Let's not get into WhatsApp group now. सुनो ना बेटे, मजा आ रहा है. So please understand how it hurts the common man. Harish sir has proved by showing the weightages. Excellent. Parth, I agree with you. Sir, please continue, sir.
Right. So 10% of the basket is for housing. If you are in the urban consumer basket like I am and most of us are, then I'm assuming you will have a big...
Listen to this. Come.
You'll have a big part of your consumption going into housing EMI or housing rent. So this is at India level 10%. If this basket you would have consumed in Mumbai, for sure this could have been 25-30%. So understand, the basket is pan India. The basket is not only for Mumbai or Delhi or such cities. Fuel and light, which is all your energy products. Health, transportation, 8.6%. So you can see this is how the basket is created. So Anil sir spoke about CPI. I just thought I will add a little bit of data in terms of what goes into this consumer price index. Now, suppose you don't eat, let's say, meat and fish like Anil sir doesn't. So in your basket, this 4% consumption will not come in. Maybe you will consume more of fruits, maybe. So basket keeps on changing. Always remember, basket is not the same for everybody. Is something that you have to always keep in mind. The next point that you have to understand is in India, since 2016, since August 2016, the monetary policy, the topic where Anil sir left for me to take over, the monetary policy since 2016 is decided by MPC, Monetary Policy Committee. So it is no longer RBI who decides monetary policy. So please remember, it is a committee consisting of 6 people. 3 members are from RBI, 3 members are from the government. Government appoints 3 members in Monetary Policy Committee. So if tomorrow you believe RBI is not doing enough in the MPC, it's not only RBI in the committee from 2016 August. That is something that a lot of people don't know, because traditionally we were taught that RBI decides monetary policy, RBI decides interest rates. Those days are gone. Now it is 3 members of RBI, 3 members appointed by the Government of India. For example, currently the MPC has the ex-IIM Ahmedabad Dean, Professor Dholakia. He's a part of the Monetary Policy Committee, just for your information. We have a professor of statistics from the Delhi Statistical Institute, who's a part of the MPC. So there are like 6 members of them. Let me show you the data points, which is something which I want to start with. Anil sir also showed this chart about inflation. Anil sir, can you see this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now Anil sir showed this chart for more recent time. I am taking it to the history from 2012. Now, once the Monetary Policy Committee was incorporated, their primary objective, based on which they decide interest rate, is inflation. Raghuram Rajan was instrumental in pushing government to give an inflation target to Monetary Policy Committee. So Raghuram Rajan said, we can't have a RBI of the past where we are supposed to look at everything. During the UPA time, the government was not very effective, as some of you would know. So RBI had to do the heavy lifting. Raghuram Rajan said, not done. I am coming with international experience. Let's have an inflation target. Government agreed. The current government, the NDA, agreed. They said, okay, no problem. I agree to your point. But whenever inflation is not a concern, you will help us create growth. Currently, COVID situation, like Anil sir mentioned, inflation has gone down. Consumption is not happening. People are not obviously going out and consuming. So RBI will say, look, looks like inflation is under control. MPC will now look at growth. MPC will try to promote economic growth. But suppose inflation is not under control, then MPC is given a very simple target in India. Please don't look at anything else. Bring inflation under control. Anil sir mentioned a number of 5%, which is the average. The actual range is 2% to 6%. So if you can see this chart, somewhere around the end of 2016 till today, 2% to 6% is the range for our MPC to maintain inflation, 2 to 6. It has breached in the last couple of months recently. It also breached once in the past, went below 2%. But by and large, this is the range. You have to be in this 2 to 6% range. So whenever inflation is not in this range, MPC will do whatever it takes to control inflation. Some of you may be economic students. Higher the inflation, Monetary Policy Committee increases interest rates. Lower the inflation, Monetary Policy Committee reduces the interest rates. So we have been hearing Anil sir talking about shifting MCLR to repo. The repo rate is the most important rate decided by the Monetary Policy Committee. Repo rate, as we call it. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends money to banks. So if you're a bank, you can go to RBI, borrow money from RBI at repo rate. That is why RBI is saying, if you are borrowing money at repo rate, please also give loans to consumers at rate linked to repo. आपका बोरोइंग रेट रेपो पे है तो आप लेंड भी करो रेपो से लिंक करके, उस पे मार्जिन कमाओ, बट रेपो से लिंक करो. That is why the repo rate loans have been the new norm in the banking industry. I'm sure you know currently repo rate stands at 4%. So remember, inflation is the main trigger point for interest rates in any country, including India. Higher the inflation, higher the interest rates, lower the inflation, lower the interest rate. So last 6 months, interest rates have been cut. I personally expect at least 1 to 2 rate cuts more in the coming months because inflation may further go down. So repo rate linked loans will definitely go down in the next 6 months. RBI has enough room to cut rates. Anil sir mentioned a very important point. Indian government does not have a fiscal stimulus potential. We don't have enough money to spend on the fiscal side. RBI definitely has potential to cut the rates. There is definitely a scope for that. Monsoon is expected to be good this year. So obviously food prices are not expected to go up. All that will help in interest rates going down in time to come. The second thing which you should know about inflation is, I have studied developed economies for a long time. India is still developing. But if you look at US, for example, I'll show you US inflation. This is historic. It goes from 1910 till date. If you look at this inflation chart of US, which is also based on consumer price index, you will see the inflation used to be very high in 30s and 40s and even till something like 90s. You can see inflation of 10%, 12% in US. But as the country develops, as the country grows bigger, remember something, the GDP growth rate also goes down, inflation rate also goes down. It's a trend that you will see in any country that keeps on growing. So what used to be a 7, 8, 10% growth rate in inflation is now currently in the range of 0 to 2% in US. So lower the inflation, I repeat, interest rate also tends to be lower over a period of time. You can see India also, 2012 onwards CPI came. Before that, if you look at WPI data, we have seen 14-15% inflation. Any of you, if you were there in India in 80s and 90s, inflation used to be 14-15%. From that, if you see interest rates in India were in double digit. Many of you would probably remember FDs used to give 12% in 90s. 12% FD rate, amazing time if you are an FD investor. But now what is an FD giving you? 5%. So as a country develops, remember inflation moderates, interest rates also moderates. The second important thing you should note in this data, which I will build in the next few slides, is Indian inflation is generally more than US inflation. In India, inflation generally is 4 to 5%. In US, inflation is generally 1 to 2% typically. Sometimes goes up, but generally in the range of 2%. Remember this. Indian inflation is usually higher than US inflation because US is a $21 trillion economy. We are a $2.8 trillion economy. So size matters. A small bank can double its profits. A large bank cannot double its profits. The base effect that Anil sir mentioned about in the previous sessions. This is Japan, one more developed country which is bigger than India. You can see Japan, 60s and 70s and 80s, inflation in the range of 5 to 10%. Keeps on going lower as the country keeps on developing. Now Japan usually is in deflation, either zero or close to zero or sometimes even lower than zero. This is Japan. As the country has developed, inflation has gone down. Germany, one more developed country above us. Germany has a bigger GDP than us. Again, 5 to 10% inflation in the past. So it's like India is here, if you imagine, we are in this range. But as the development has happened of Germany, inflation has also come in the range of 0 to 2, 3% kind of range. So remember a couple of points I am mentioning. As India develops further, we go into $5 trillion economy. That elusive number that government has been talking about, $5 trillion economy. My sense is we will reach $5 trillion economy probably in 7 to 8 years. I have done calculations for that. So maybe in 7 years we will reach there, not by 2025 or something. But as we reach there, as we go to 5 and then 7 and then 10, it will happen. Nobody can stop India from growing. We grow despite problems. We don't grow with a lot of support sometimes from everybody around us. We will still grow. Young India, a lot of risk-taking ability. The best analogy you can understand about GDP or India's culture is cricket. how cricket has emerged in India, how new captains have taken Indian cricket team to greater heights. I always correlate Indian cricket team with India's progress. Hindu growth rate, Anil sir mentioned. That was the cricket of Sunil Gavaskar. If you've seen Sunil Gavaskar play, what a player, what a batsman. But then he was not playing at a rate of 100 ka strike rate. He will be like, थोड़ा थोड़ा पैसा आराम से लेंगे, आराम से score करेंगे, कोई कुछ नहीं करने वाला है. But as India went into 90s and 2000s, the Dhoni era came, the IPL era came, the Virat Kohli era came. That's new India. That's an India which is going to grow no matter what. And remember, as it happens, inflation will go down. Currently, and I think for the foreseeable future, India's inflation will be more than US inflation. Monetary Policy Committee looks at inflation as the main factor to decide repo rate. Repo rate, if you can see, is this. As inflation goes down over a period of time, repo rate has also been cut by Monetary Policy Committee. So we were at close to 7-8% repo rate. Now we are at 4% repo rate. So as the interest rate keeps on falling, all interest rates linked to repo rate will also keep falling. I'm nowhere saying that we will only be going lower. We can go higher also, but the trend will keep on going lower. So from 8%, the next peak could be 6, then the next peak could be 4. We could probably go towards 2% as the country develops. That is going to happen. You can see 2001 repo rate was 11%. Then the average was something like 8, 9. Now the average is more like 4 to 6. So this is going to happen. We will go towards 3% and then 2% also. All the interest rates will go down over the next 20-25 years as it has gone down in the last 20-25 years. Understand, there is a trend that you are seeing. Now, what is the implication of all this? There are two implications I would like to talk about. The first implication is on dollar rupee. Many of you are businessmen, many of you are exporters. Anil sir will have a separate session specifically on exports. But I just want to link interest rates and inflation to dollar rupee rate. Currently, dollar rupee rate, I am sure many of you know, is at approximately 75.5. 75.5 rupees to a dollar currently. I also hope you know, since independence or even before that, rupee has only depreciated over a period of time. I hope you know that. This is the dollar rupee chart of India for the last almost 35 years, 40 years. Dollar rupee chart. Anybody who looks at this will know dollar rupee was less than 10. I don't know whether you were you were even probably not even born in 80s. I was born in the early 80s. And then you can see how dollar rupee has moved. We have seen 10 rupees to a dollar, 20 rupees to a dollar, 30 rupees to a dollar, 40 rupees to a dollar, 50 rupees to a dollar, 60 rupees to a dollar, 70 rupees to a dollar, 75 rupees to a dollar. Now, a lot of people in India somehow incorrectly, illogically correlate weakening rupee, depreciating rupee with a bad country. Don't do that. Don't judge any country by currency rate. Indian rupee continues to depreciate against US dollar, not because India is weaker or US is stronger. Don't bring patriotism into this, please. There is a concept called purchasing power parity that many of you probably would have learned. As a country's inflation is higher than another country's inflation, like I showed you, India's inflation is higher than US inflation. Make no mistake, there will be depreciating pressure on rupee. We become net importers because in our country, prices are going up costlier. Look at electronics, look at gold. I know there is a boycott China kind of a revolution that is starting. But the fact is we import Chinese goods for prices, cheaper prices. Our prices are costlier. Gold prices in India is costlier than gold prices in Dubai traditionally. So we import a lot, and that is called as current account deficit. Anil sir spoke about it in the previous session. We are a net importer because of higher inflation being one factor. So as inflation in India is higher, remember this point, we tend to be net importers. And because we are net importers, rupee can only depreciate against US. It has nothing to do beyond that. Understand a very simple thing. So please don't try and be a little patriotic here and say, India will do well, we will appreciate. No. There is a lot of depreciation in rupee that continues to happen. You can see this chart. Of course, there are phases where rupee appreciates. There are phases where value of rupee goes up. But this is the time when you may be surprised to know this. RBI, our Reserve Bank of India, interferes in the FX market. Interferes. They jump in the FX market, buy dollars. So whenever dollars in India comes in excess due to foreign portfolio investors, RBI says, no, I will not let rupee appreciate too much because rupee has to gradually depreciate. RBI interferes and buys excess dollars. Remember this. That is why our FX reserves has gone from zero. We were close to zero FX reserves in early 90s. Balance of payment crisis. Anybody learned economics will know that. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister at that point, 1991 liberalization. Very much spoken about in Indian economics. We did not even have 7 days of import के लिए dollar. उतना भी पैसा नहीं था इंडिया के पास. We opened up the door to foreigners. We said, let foreigners invest in India. Liberalization. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister. P.V. Narasimha Rao, I don't think he gets enough credit as a prime minister for what he did during that time. P.V. Narasimha Rao. I think he was even shunned by his own party, if I'm not wrong, during his late stages. I think he was not even given respect towards his eventual days by Congress, if I'm not wrong. P.V. Narasimha Rao and Venkatraman and then Rangarajan, the two RBI governors at that point. They did this concept called opening up the economy. A lot of foreign money came into India. FII, FDI, you must know that. Yet, understand, rupee has only depreciated. India has grown a lot in the last 30 years. So do not be under an impression that as country like India progresses, rupee will appreciate, we will go to 60, we will go to 50, we will go to 40. May not happen very soon. For that to happen, our inflation, India's inflation, should be continuously lower than US inflation. That then only US will have then only the rupee will start to appreciate. I don't see that happening for the next at least a couple of decades. So if you're an importer or exporter, remember this, rupee can only depreciate. In my foreseeable future, in the next decade or so, we will touch 100 rupees to a dollar. We will. It's a matter of time. So if you're an exporter, awesome. You will keep getting more rupees for your exports. If you're an importer, please think about hedging. Don't be under the impression that rupee is going to appreciate in the next many years. Of course, there can be months or weeks where rupee will appreciate, but not as a trend. Always remember that. And second, Reserve Bank of India does not let rupee appreciate too much. This is a second angle you have to remember. RBI is very smart. RBI knows rupee should depreciate because of higher inflation. So whenever rupee appreciates, whenever foreign investors invest a lot of money, RBI will step into the market and purchase dollars. That is what is called FX reserves. From zero in 91, we are at $490 billion today. Close to $500 billion we have FX reserves. कहाँ से आया? RBI ने purchase किया है इतना dollars market से. क्यों purchase किया है? Because अगर वो purchase नहीं किया होता, तो रुपी काफी appreciate हो गया होता. क्या problem है रुपी appreciate हो गया तो? हमारा natural depreciation is not going to work. Second, jobs will be lost in India if rupee appreciates a lot. If you see cities like Pune, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, which has developed over the last 15 years in a big way, especially Pune, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Bangalore. कैसे develop हुआ ये cities? आपको पता होगा. They've all developed due to IT exports, KPOs, financial services job. वो क्या है? Export oriented jobs है. So when rupee appreciates, our manpower is expensive for US. They will not give us jobs. They will go to Philippines. They will go to Indonesia. They will go to Malaysia. It's already happening. So we don't want rupee to appreciate in the near term. It's not good for Indian economy. We need jobs coming from there. Understand, our jobs are not in manufacturing sector, unfortunately. Our jobs are even now in export oriented sectors. So that is why understand the trend, higher inflation, jobs, we will only have a trend of rupee depreciating. It may appreciate in a month, a week, a quarter. Trend, look at a trend, 10 years, 15 years trend. We may probably cross 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. It is just a matter of time. Don't associate India's weakness here. Don't get patriotic. Current account deficit, Anil sir spoke about it a lot. We are a net importer. This is a data for current account deficit for the last 10 years. This figure that you see, minus $38 billion, minus $48 billion, this is called current account deficit. In the current year, it is much lower, FY20, because of lower oil prices. I hope you know oil prices have crashed. So our import bill is also much lower. But the fact is, we are a net importer. We have not had a single year we were a net exporter. So because we are a net importer, rupee depreciates. Understand the simple logic. When does rupee appreciate? When we get lot of capital account inflow, FDI, foreign direct investment, FPI, foreign portfolio investment. So there are certain years like 2018 or 2015 where there is so much of money coming into India, $89 billion, $91 billion coming into India. Suddenly, there is so much dollar, price of dollar falls, rupee appreciates, but RBI steps in during those years. RBI has been purchasing reserves like crazy. This is India's FX reserves that RBI maintains. You can see years where lot of dollars come into India, like 2013 or 18, RBI buys a lot of dollars. You can see how reserves have gone up over a period of time. So what is the moral of the story which I am talking about? As long as India's inflation is higher than US inflation, rupee tends to depreciate. Appreciating rupee is not necessarily a good news for India. Don't be under this impression that we will have dollar rupee coming to 5 and 10 and all that. We will be killed. India will be doomed if that happens. Nobody will have a job. People write on Facebook that give it 10 more years, we will show US our value. We will go to $1 is equal to 1 rupee. आपको समझते हैं $1 1 rupee मतलब 10 लाख रुपए का salary is 10 lakh dollar for them. It's very unaffordable. They will say मैं US में job create करेगा. Why will they come to India? फिर वो जो हम लोग Facebook में टाइप कर रहे हो Facebook ही नहीं होगा, जॉब ही नहीं होगा, तो किधर टाइप करोगे आप about India's strength and all that? So always remember, there are economics that plays, not politics. Don't be under a patriotic or an emotional attachment. Just be looking at data. There's a website where I have taken all this slide, tradingeconomics.com. Any of you who are interested in economics, there's a website called tradingeconomics.com. Amazing website, all countries' data historically available there, free of cost and very accurate. Tradingeconomics.com. I will leave it here, Anil sir. All yours.
Amazing, sir. Superb. Can colleagues please give the feedback to Harish sir, please? All of you, it's very important that we give feedback. Harish sir, please look at the chat.
Yes, sir.
I've made all the notes, right? Yeah. Vinod sir is saying, wow, superb session, amazing lecture. I'll wait for 2 minutes because this is very important for a speaker who comes and gives us half an hour. Crystal clear experience.
I love economics, sir. There's a lot of economics that is important.
Captain Aditya, the agripreneur who is going to come very soon and address you all. Sir, please look at the chat. It's important for me. My kids are typing for you. I know
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. I love economics. I think every businessman, every student should know about economics because it will affect everything that you do. So be always good with data. Tradingeconomics.com. Please be very particular. हफ्ते में एक दिन जाके data देख लेना. You will be very happy to see how things are progressing. Keep emotions out. Keep politics out. Data doesn't lie is always what I believe in.
Harish sir, I'm getting jealous. Somebody has written, Harish sir, you are the best. And I'm watching that. This is wrong. Absolutely wrong. Okay, so I'm going to come and kill you all. No, so I love you, brother. There's a good book. So they're asking for books. And here is where I introduce my brother, Nimesh Rathod, sir. So all of you all, I used to teach economics for FMB students. And then I gave up. I said, I'll focus on finance and do a bit on finance. The reason I gave it up was there was somebody better than me who did a wonderful job. Right. Rikshit Beda, yes, we are going to have more time on this topic. Definitely. That is why the series are going on. You just have to come. Okay. There's going to be many more speakers. Captain Aditya has come in. Everybody has come in. Colleagues, I was talking about Nimesh sir. Right. He's my brother, Nimesh Rathod sir, an engineer. Amazing economics explanation. He runs a course known as EconoWise. I stepped back because I found him much better in explaining economics to dear students. And I'm so privileged that Nimesh sir has come to the channel. I invited him. I said, just come and watch, because if you can come next time and give half an hour of your very valuable time, I'll be obliged. Harish sir, Nimesh sir teaches at SP Jain. He is a wonderful favorite of all the students. Shanti
Okay.
ma'am, if you can please unmute Nimesh sir so he can speak for 2 minutes. Next session, sir is coming as an expert faculty. Nimesh
Sure,
sir,
I'm just unmuting him.
right. Nimesh sir has said, Harish sir, you are very passionate. Coming from Nimesh sir, it means a lot, Harish sir. So two big veterans here. Nimesh sir, if you could just spend 2 minutes saying hello to my students. Next session, you are here. I'm so happy. Yes, Econovise is be wise in economics. It is a term coined by Nimesh Rathod. Nimesh sir, can you speak, sir, please? Madam, there will be one Nimesh Rathod, sir, on the speaker list.
Yeah, I've searched him. I've just allowed him to talk. He can unmute and talk.
Nimesh sir? Yeah, you're still not audible, sir. You're still not audible. Yeah, Nimesh sir is saying, looks like I'm still not audible. Yes, sir, you're not audible. We'll wait for 1 minute, sir. No problem. Okay, ma'am, I'm just continuing. And whenever Nimesh sir wants to see, Bhavik Bete, please talk to Simar. Nimesh sir's lecture was one of the best on Hartech platform. Today only I talked to dear Simar, my boy, and I said, please upload kar dijiye sab lectures. He's having a wealth of information. And he promised, he said, Simar promised his team member, Bani will upload it. Wealth of information. And Nimesh sir was a rocking session. Moradian sir was there. I'm going to invite Moradian sir also here. Okay. I think Nimesh sir is having problems, so I will quickly run my slides. And whenever Nimesh sir can speak, it will be a pleasure. I'm so happy that these veterans are joining in. All of you saw the power of Harish sir. That's how he teaches. God bless him. I'll just quickly share it. Nimesh sir, whenever you can unmute, please come in. Please come in. Harish sir, wonderful, sir. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Nimesh, sir, for your feedback. Means a lot. I have not had an opportunity of meeting you.
So this is the beauty of challenging times. So we all get to meet each other. Today I called sir at about 6:50 and said, Nimesh sir, can you join? He said, welcome. And that's the love these people have for students. Okay, I have nothing to say. This was the slide which all of you should please take a photograph. Somebody asked a question. Hey, class is not over. I've got 5 more minutes. Arey Baba, 2 people have quit. I don't understand this. Somebody asked, what is reverse repo? So repo rate is the rate, as Harish sir said, the rate at which RBI pumps in money into the system, right? And reverse repo is the rate at which RBI sucks out money. Repo is repurchase. Okay, so repo rate is the rate. This is a slide that all of you all were asking. Okay, sir explained beautifully. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI pumps in money into the economy. Okay, this diagram aap kar lijiye bete. Reverse repo is where they suck it out. Okay. Okay. A beautiful way sir said it. I would like to now just show you 2 graphs and what sir showed. Beautiful, amazing lecture. Right, this is where rupee is going to depreciate. Some fools say Bharat Mata ki jai, 1 rupee, $1. मेरे को क्या बोलो यार? I also say भारत माता की जय. पहला आपकी जय. $1, 1 rupee होगा तो पता नहीं, right? अच्छा है. People say anything they want, right? God bless. This is where we have this problem of financial literacy. You take loans at flat rate. You take loans at MCLR. I keep saying go change to repo rate. You come back saying bank is not allowing. Some of you all keep reading articles where they say India's is going to be $1, 1 rupee, and wonderful explanation by the young economist. If you do that, we are doomed. So this is a graph which again elaborates what Harish sir said. Here is some pointers. My last slide for today. And agripreneur Captain Aditya will join in. Nimesh sir also will join in next time. Today I think he's having audio problems. Please take this slide because this is where I'm going to start the lecture next time. Harish sir, you simply rocked. You simply rocked. You can take this, just take a snapshot. We'll discuss this next time. I'm stopping with this. Please note, places are opening up, not because it is safe, because I'm your elder here. So प्यार से बोल रहा हूँ. Please go out for work, but please take precaution. My son and wife is sitting here and laughing because I have started going out for work, but I am taking precautions. I have told them either you die of infection or you die of hunger. I have decided that it is better not to die of hunger. and I still don't know why the government enforced lockdown. I'm taking precautions, but it's fate. As simple as that. Hunger movement, please donate. I'm looking for some more sponsors. Karo yaar, please. Kuch to karo. Next class, I will show you the Vismay family. I will talk about their promoters. I will talk about them. Anybody who sponsors, not only I will talk about your products, I will also talk about your contribution. Little I can do. Okay, whatever you can, please contribute. I said the benchmark is 10,000. If you feel that's also too high, please write to me. But please contribute to this movement. Humble request. People are still dying of hunger. As a teacher, as a human being, I'm appealing to you all. People are dying. Gani kept coming back. I remember, instantly he did it. Not only Gani, all of you all. I'm again and again, Dr. Vinod passed it on immediately to HEF and said, please donate. People should not die of hunger. That is not fair. Yes, my Insta page, I'm there. And I think most of you have got collected. Some of you kids have wanted me to come on WhatsApp. I'm completely fine. But abhi dal dijiye chat pe. I'm okay. I will not form the link. I can contribute by way of comments, etc. I will invite people to come in. Nimesh sir, if you can unmute.
Anil sir, if I may speak.
Yeah, please.
Nimesh sir is saying he's not able to unmute. So
no problem, sir.
At the
Nimesh
bottom, if it's laptop, then at the bottom left-hand side, there is an unmute button. If it's a phone, then there is you have to kind of tap the phone and there will be an unmute option. So I'm just trying to see if Nimesh sir can talk, because that would be very useful for the participants.
Can you repeat that for Nimesh sir?
So I'm not sure whether it's in laptop or a phone. If he's in laptop, then bottom left-hand side, there is an unmute button. Bottom screen left-hand side. And if it is on the phone, then if you tap on the phone, then there's a little bit of a mic that will come, and then you can click on the mic and it will get unmuted.
Okay. No problem. Nimesh sir will join in next time. I promise. He has also promised me he will come. We will do a joint session. Come here. All of you will come. Let's have fun. Okay. We teachers want to only add value. All right. Nimesh sir, thank you very much for joining. Thank you, colleagues. We have got, all of you have said, we are going to discuss Reliance. I'm going to call somebody from the industry. We know both Harish sir and me know him. Mujib ji will be coming and we will be doing the Reliance case together. I love him. I love him because he's going on closing deals and he's showing that nothing can stop a person who is on the move. We'll discuss the Reliance case very soon. You wanted it, we will do it. And please don't come and say he has made a lot of money. I'm feeling jealous. I think he's one of the biggest philanthropists. Today, if I'm able to communicate to you, it's because of this man. I'll prove it with numbers. Okay. Okay, this I keep saying because I'm elder to you all. Please be careful because this is the last slide I want to show you. It's still not, India has not flattened this curve. We have flattened the economic curve, as Mr. Bajaj says it very well. I'm sorry for the sarcasm. The government has flattened the economic curve, but sambhal ke rehna bete, please. That's all I can say. Thank you very, very much. I will now request those who want to go for dinner to please go for dinner. Thank you very much, Harish sir. You could always stay. Right? Those who have questions, I will love to take your questions. Wonderful session. Can I have all of you clap for dear Harish sir? Wonderful. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. I remember an anecdote which was shared by Paddy Upton. Paddy Upton, if you know, was India's fitness coach. When we won the World Cup, he and Gary Kristen was the coach for India. So he said they were trying to create a culture in Indian cricket team of trying to be punctual. A lot of them were not punctual in Indian cricket team. The Test cricket captain at that point was Anil Kumble, and the ODI captain was MS Dhoni. So Paddy Upton went to Anil Kumble and said, I think we should have some kind of a penalty, some kind of a thing that everybody will be punctual. Now, Anil Kumble is a traditionalist, right? He's from the old Indian kind of a thing. Very good, amazing cricketer, no doubt. He said, anybody who is late will pay a fine of 10,000 rupees. Paddy Upton said, okay, no problem. Anybody who is late, 10,000 rupees fine. Went to MS Dhoni in the next team meeting for ODI. He said, see, we have agreed for the Test cricket team that there will be a 10,000 rupees fine. MS Dhoni said, if anybody is late, everybody else will pay 10,000 rupees fine. That is called leadership of a new way. That's new India. They think very differently. They think out of the box. They're like, everybody will pay 10,000 rupees fine if somebody is late. So now if you're late, you will feel so miserable because aapke wajah se baki log pay karenge. That's the new India that MS Dhoni brought in. And I love cricket. I love cricket, an analogy that you can get in life about the new India. Sorry, just out of digressed point.
Sir, loud clap for you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again, Harish sir. Love you. Love you. Okay, guys, those who want to have dinner, thank you. Harish sir rocked as always. I'll take questions now. Those who want to have dinner, please. Thank you very much. I'm going to be here till the last question is answered. Let's have the questions coming in, please.
So I just have a small request. I guess someone else as a host has logged in on the same username password. So I am not able to see the question and answer session.
So I think, is it my wife? Just check her phone पे कुछ है क्या? नहीं, phone तो बंद है. Is it from my phone or something, ma'am?
No, from our we have a login ID, licensed login ID, right? The Zoom one. So someone has logged in from that. So I'm not able to see the question answer session.
Don't worry, I'll do it for you. But you can unmute people when they say, na?
That is also not visible for me now.
No
Because
problem.
I have to just check who else have logged in. When I'm trying, it's just showing that someone else is logged in from another device.
No
That's what I'm been visible.
फोन स्विच ऑफ करना. बच्चे लोग मस्ती नहीं करेंगे. ये अपने से कुछ गलती हुआ है. So please type your questions on the question answer form. Today I will do it. Rupee depreciation will stop somewhere. Yes, it will.
Sir, I have sorry, sir. I took the liberty of answering few. Sorry.
बोलिए ना sir.
No. Q&A में I took the liberty of answering few already. I'm just.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Correct. No. So what liberty? It was your class also. Okay. So yes, it will stop somewhere, but that nobody knows at what stage at this that will stop. That's where the entire thing is. Any other questions? Please type in the question answer form, not chat. Harish sir, stay if you want. I think they want to have questions to you also. I would love it.
Yes, sir. I'm here and I'm actually answering a couple of them in the
Okay.
Q&A. I'm not in the chat box.
Why alcohol is not included in WPI? Harish sir? This is-
WPI is at a wholesale manufacturing sector level, not at a consumer basket level. So whatever are the main sectors for India's GDP is covered in WPI. So for example, steel, auto, oil, anything that we manufacture a lot. Alcohol manufacturing in India is not a big percentage of GDP. So that is why there is no weightage.
Thank you. I wonder why Captain Aditya is asking a question about alcohol because he's a teetotaler. But anyway, God bless. Next question. He's an agripreneur, Harish sir, and he's going to come in very soon. USD will appreciate compared to INR. What about Euro? Nath, our favorite student. Sir? Harish sir, it's better you take these questions.
So not Euro USD is the most important exchange rate in the world. So our relation with Euro will be our relation with dollar and dollar relationship with Euro. So it's basically called cross currency. So we have to look at it two separately now. One is, will rupee depreciate against dollar? Maybe in the near term rupee will appreciate, but as a trend rupee will depreciate in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Will dollar appreciate against euro? I don't think so. I think euro will also tend to come back against USD. So if you look at INR euro, INR will depreciate more against dollar as compared to euro is what I'm trying to basically in a nutshell tell you, because that's a cross currency logic, Nath. And I know where you're coming from because you had a question about this in personal chat also with me.
And the next question is, how can Bhutan survive on gross happiness product and not GDP? This is from dear Ishan.
So Ishan, it's all very subjective at country level, how they want to judge themselves. It's at a very personal level. It's like, I know Anil sir now, for example. Now he may say, you know what, I'm not bothered about this big money and all that. I want to live a simple life. So all of us differently think about how our life should be. Same way at a country level also, they can think about the overall life. They don't have to necessarily compete with other developing countries. And they say, you know what, we will focus on happiness and not necessarily try to become the biggest GDP. Of course, happiness needs money. They're doing everything for that. Tourism is a big part of it. But it's just about what you want to focus on, basically. What are your key parameters you want to define? They also have GDP. It's not like Bhutan doesn't have GDP.
So here I also want to say a person who has influenced me to add to Harish sir is, I keep speaking about this gentleman, respected George sir. And he says, whatever you do in life, at the end of it, you should be happy. and you should have a clear conscience. It's not about money or wealth or a luxury car. You should be happy. So as Sir said, Bhutan's priorities are very clear, right? And it does not mean they are focusing only on happiness. They also have their GDP. Wonderful question and great answer. Chirag has a question for you, sir. What about investment? Should one invest more? Should one hold on to equity? Wait, before Harish sir, before you answer this, I got a WhatsApp from somebody saying that I have 1 lakh shares of Vodafone. What do I do with it? Boss, what do you guys think, yeah? I'm some god or something. I know Mr. Daruwala has expired, but I am not Vijan here. I don't know all this. I immediately shouted at that boy. I said, what is this question? Today I get another question from another kid working in Society General. Infosys prices have gone up. All right, what do I do? I said, what do I do? Sir, you are the expert. What bullshit? An expert is somebody who can explain the event after the event has happened. So if Infosys goes up, I can tell you why it has gone up. Or if it goes down, I can tell you why it goes down. How can you even come and ask somebody this question? I told that kid, young kid, I don't want to name her, working in Society General. I said, Bete, that's your decision. I tell her to sell. Tomorrow the price will go up. She'll curse me. I tell her to hold down and the price goes down. She'll curse me. I said, that's your decision. And that is okay. That is a kid working in Society General. That question about Vodafone came from an FMBI. I'm shocked. How can an FMBI ask this question? Anil Menon, sir, I hold 1 lakh shares of Vodafone. What do I do? I said, what do you do? That's your choice. So yes, sir, you should answer this in a very general word. Chirag is a very, very dear student. Should one invest more and should one hold on to equity? I'll give you the answer myself before I give it to Harish sir, because I've been speaking about this. The answer is yes. And please invest in index funds. Please invest in index funds. And please refer to my lectures and please write to Simar, right, to please upload those lectures. And I will also upload from Menon Mantras, right? Please invest in index funds. So that question I've taken. Sir, a wonderful question, Harish sir, for you. Is buying USD as an investment a good idea? Yes. If yes, any official instrument that we can purchase that replicates the USD INR movement? Harish sir, I think you should speak about dollar futures. Go ahead, sir. Harish sir, it's for you from Mohit.
Sure. So, Mohit, yes, you can allocate a part of your investment portfolio in foreign assets, dollar assets. Best way to do it would be to purchase under the liberalized remittance scheme. Up to $250,000 you can invest overseas. I would recommend either buying US government bonds, which will give you a coupon of approximately 2 to 3%. And then as rupee depreciates, you will benefit when you bring that money back. If you have the appetite of taking more risk, you can invest in S&P 500 index. Like we have Nifty, they have the S&P 500 index. So you're investing in US equity, but more risky because equity can obviously have losses also. It depends upon your horizon, Mohit, long-term, short-term, etc. If you want to be in India and want to take an exposure to dollar rupee, you can do it through dollar rupee futures, that is derivatives. I would not be able to explain derivatives in a simple way now, but yeah, you can do it within India without taking money out. But if you can take money out, $2.5 lakh per annum, I think you can invest in US government bonds or US equity based on your risk appetite. I don't know you, so I can't really be more specific.
Superb answer, sir. Class, I need a small favor. Please spread the word around about these free webinars, because when these experts speak, these kids are missing something, or at least ask them to see the I will never come and say subscribe to my channel, mere mein nahi hota hai, but at least watch the videos. You don't get an expert like Nimesh Rathod sir or the Harish sir to speak like this. Harish sir, one more question from Captain Aditya, but before I say Captain Aditya, since we have answered one question of this, Karthik Shetty says, and he's a lovely kid, what happens when there is deflation? I repeat, Karthik, when there is deflation, there is the price keeps falling, and that leads to what is called as a spiraling effect. And that's exactly what happened in Japan. So some amount of inflation is necessary. As Indians, we feel that, prices should fall, but that has its own very, very difficult implications. This is a lovely question, sir. Harish sir, you should take this. How should, and this is from a dear colleague, I don't know, DS, I don't know why kids don't write their full name. How should personal investment basket of equity versus debt be altered when GDP increases or decreases? So the dear colleague is talking about asset mix when there is an increase or decrease in GDP. Over to you, Harish sir.
So the general rule about asset allocation is you keep on going into equity in the down cycle of an economy. Economy always has cycles. So economy goes down and then it picks up. peaks, comes down, goes to a bad phase, picks up. So it's a cycle. The general logic is, as the economy is peaking, as the growth is peaking, that's the time to go from equity to debt. You sell equity, you book your profits. For example, 2018, as far as India is concerned. So as you keep going higher, you keep on selling equity, going to debt. As the growth comes down, and I'm saying it easily, but it is not that easy to predict, obviously. And otherwise, everybody would be millionaires, right? As the growth goes down, you be in debt, because as growth goes down, inflation goes down, interest rates goes down. That is the best time to be in debt. Last 3 years, government bonds, long-term government bonds have given 15% compounded rate, where equity is negative. Why? Because interest rates were falling. When you know that interest rate is going to form a bottom, as you go closer to that bottom cycle, maybe in the next 8 months, we will reach there. You again go from debt to equity. That is broadly how we do asset allocation. I need to add something. You have to always also know about your personal financial goals. I mean, I'm saying very generically, but obviously each portfolio will be different within this overall logic. Is that fine, Anil sir?
Absolutely brilliant. And sir, Dr. Vinod Nair wants you to name your channel publicly. I know you don't like marketing it, sir, but please do. So
my YouTube channel is called Harish Menon. There is no other name. So Harish Menon, you'll have the same logo if you saw in my PPT, that orange color H and black logo. YouTube has the same channel. If you want, I can share the link also here.
Sir, please do, sir. Please do. Vinod sir is asking for it. And please spread knowledge. And wonderful question from Captain Aditya. Chinese government is going for an e-currency. What are its implications? How will it affect India, if at all? Sir, he's talking about the rogue country, China, coming out with its sovereign-backed cryptocurrency. So would you like to take it, or yeah, go ahead.
So it's a tricky question, Aditya. Very good question. But I am not aware of it in depth to be able to take a view on it, to be honest. I am not a very big, analyst or whatever you call it. I have not gone into the world of cryptocurrencies in detail. That is one area which I have not researched or read about or looked at or even invested. And usually what I don't get into, I don't talk about it, because it becomes very, it's not logical. If I have not touched it, I wouldn't want to talk about it. So I'm not aware of it. I don't know enough to answer you in a nutshell. Aditya, I'm sorry.
Harish sir, of course, knows a bit, but he doesn't want to say unless he's completely sure. Captain Aditya, sir, he's from the army. Captain Aditya, I will request Nimesh sir to speak about this. Okay, sir, there's a lovely question for you. Only you can answer that, because you are the financial analyst and you manage funds for a lot of people. Can you name, this is from John Joseph, sir. I don't know this gentleman. Namaskar, sir. Can you name some good index funds? Harish sir, as an analyst, can you please name some good index funds?
Yes, in fact, Anil sir, you yourself had also referred the same. So I'm going to add to that. One is UTI Nifty Index Fund, which will replicate the Nifty. If you want to take a little bit extra risk, you can also consider UTI Nifty Next 50 Index. Both are UTI, Nifty and Next 50 Index funds. The third one, which you can try, it is not always open for subscription. They sometimes close it down. HDFC Sensex Fund. So Nifty Sensex and Nifty Next 50. These are the three indices you can consider, John Joseph sir.
Lovely, sir. And though I mentioned about it, I'm not a practitioner like Harish sir. So that's why I gave it to the practitioner. Prasad, this is one question I would like to take as a production engineer. Right, as a production engineer. Yes, manufacturing time has come. Prasad Khatau runs a 100 crore company into completely water treatment. Very humble guy from Pune, a dear FMBite, and he's doing extremely well. Prasad, I'll take this question. Being a production engineer, I think yes, historically manufacturing is where it is, and I think India is now going to come back to manufacturing. Watch out for state reforms. Sorry, bete, we belong to Maharashtra, but Maharashtra, something else is going on. But please look out for other states. They have started reforming themselves. Labor reforms are out. No discussions on this, please. Nothing political, I'm saying. So labor reforms are out. And yes, for a country to sustain, it has to be manufacturing. Unfortunately, India moved from agriculture to services. Okay, so we missed the manufacturing curve. I agree with you. People like you who are building a new India, we need more people like you. And that's why, right, manufacturing, we are going to talk about Make in India. It's my promise. So your point is absolutely right and valid. Manufacturing cannot be ignored because that contributes significantly to employment also. Wonderful. Ishad Bete, a lovely question. Sir, how do countries recover from hyperinflation? Harish sir, it's again to you, sir.
So, in the previous incidents of hyperinflation that I have studied, which has happened in multiple countries, there is only one remedy to that: kill growth. Increase interest rates so much that you kill growth. So you make people just keep on saving, not spending at all, because you can't obviously do much about that. The only problem with this is if the hyperinflation has come due to extremely high oil prices or something that you're importing, so you don't have much control over it, then you're gone. Then you'll have to wait for that excess prices to come down. Suppose today oil price goes from $40 per barrel to $200 per barrel and we import a lot of oil, then we can't do much about it. We can't suddenly start producing oil in India. But if the hyperinflation is because of less supply and high demand domestically, only one solution works, which US has done when Paul Volcker was their chairman in 1970s. Just increase interest rates and kill growth. Just make sure people don't spend and they save. Almost like a spending lockdown, not a physical lockdown.
Amazing explanation. Amazing explanation. Sir, this is a trick question, but I still take it because it's come from UK. Sir, when you answer this, Dipali Bete, we will answer this with disclaimers. I could have ignored your question, but I'll still answer it with disclaimers. Sir, amazing session, Harish sir. I'm an NRI living in the UK. Is it the right time to remit pounds to INR or wait for some time, as INR is falling against pound for last couple of months? Okay, colleagues, normally such questions is what puts me off, but I still take it because it has come from a lady. Okay, but sir, please do answer this with some disclaimers. Dipali Bete, please understand, we are not God, we are only human beings, but we'll still answer this out of respect for you because you contribute to remittances. And India has, as all my students would know, India is one of the highest remittances in the world. So just as an exception for you, out of respect for all NRIs, we will answer this question with disclaimers. Harish sir, over to you.
So Dipali ji, tricky answer, as Anil sir said, because it's very tricky. I am very bad at taking very short-term views. Having said that, I will say two things. One, my sense is over the next 6 months to 12 months, rupee is going to appreciate against USD and Euro and GBP to a large extent. Rupee is going to appreciate is my sense over the next 6 to 12 months. I am assuming you will not hold me responsible if it doesn't. Second, I will give you a very practical insight. There is a concept called GBP INR futures and options. There are beautiful ways in which you can hedge your remittance. You can eat the cake and not really have a problem also. There is a lot of ways in which you can do that. Anybody who can advise you about GBP INR options. So you can buy a put option on GBP. If you are remitting, you will get the best of all rates at a very small cost of hedging. It's like, you're paying like an insurance premium to protect your possible losses. You can do that. I think that's a much better thing to do rather than just take a view-based thing because it's going to be tricky.
Amazing answer, sir. So class, Harish sir is an expert in derivatives, absolutely an expert in derivatives. We'll do derivatives as the course goes on. I will take a couple of questions. Equity to debt ratio regarding your age. Normally, Mihir Bete, they say 80 minus age is your maximum exposure to equity. As you age, it is better to focus on debt because as you age, your risk-taking ability goes down. But that's a bloody joke, which Americans say. For me, a 80-year-old Gujarati is ready to take more risk than a 25-year-old South Indian. Because I don't think it's only to do with age, it's also to do with your risk ability, the way you're brought up, etc. But since you asked me about age, it is 80 minus age. Prasad, thank you, Bete. Neeraj sir, we already have given the index fund's name. Again, one more question from John sir, but before we go to John sir, since we have answered this, we will take one question from Chetan, and I think, yes, 2 more minutes. If you are sure that rupee exchange, nobody is sure, Chetan. Who said we are sure? Nobody is sure here. So I'm sorry that This question itself is wrong. If we are sure that rupee exchange to a dollar will go up, I said this, Chetan, please don't ask. I don't know if you're senior to me. So if you're senior to me, sir, with due respects, nobody said we are sure. It's just a class where we are discussing things. But please understand, there's a disclaimer. Hari sir, this is the problem. You know, this is where it gets slightly irritating for me. But anyway, is there any currency related investments? You have answered that. You have answered.
Yeah, I spoke about the same thing for a different question.
Absolutely. And please note, class, nobody has said we are sure about anything. If we are sure about anything, Neeraj must be laughing now. Then, sir, we will not be conducting classes. Both of us will be trading and enjoying ourselves in the Bahamas or in the farmhouses. Akshay is there, no? Akshay Kalyanpur in the farmhouses with the farm. Akshay will get the joke, whom I'm talking about. Do you think nationalist wave is going to... sir, this is a lovely question. I think this is a very senior person. John, sir, wonderful question. Last question for today, sir. Do you think the nationalist wave that has hit the world is going to affect our exports in the near future, as every countries want to be self-dependent and will prefer consuming homegrown products? It's that question on Make America Great Again. Is it going to hit our exports? Hari sir, I would like you to answer this, please.
So again, with the disclaimer that I am not an expert in international economics or policies. Economics, I believe in the medium to long run prevails over sentiment and emotion. As long as you have something in your country which is quality wise the same and price wise competitive, there is no reason why you will import anyways. But if you don't have the same thing in your country available in the same quality and at the same price, no matter how much you try to be patriotic, at some point you will be practical. So I have always believed that economics and what you have in pocket will always be bigger than patriotism and emotions, etc. in a globalized world. Younger generation is not the same as our freedom fighters, unfortunately, or in whatever way you see. I'll give you an example. You have asked from a US importing from India kind of a thing. The question we are asking is, are there poor people in US? Obviously, yes. Do they have the resources to buy all the branded clothes of US and substitute all the cheap imports from India and China? The answer is no. Is poverty going out of US? No. So Trump can say whatever he wants to say. There is a big part of US which is poor and homeless. Can they afford their Zaras and Manjos? No. So they will need a lot of clothes from us. Vice versa. Do you have the same quality phone in India which can beat a Samsung or an iPhone? Do you have anything in India? No. So we will buy it. So the point I'm trying to make is practicality sometimes will go beyond the nationalist wave, which could be a short-term thing, which may also affect some sectors. Like we may benefit from manufacturing. I personally believe in that theory. But in general, I think economics and what you have in pocket always trumps everything else.
Superb answer. Right. And that's exactly what Nimesh sir said in his seminar. He's coming back next time. By the way, I'm so happy, Hari sir, my batchmate from engineering, we did engineering together. Imran has joined and he is an NRI. He contributes to the remittances of our country. He's come in. Love you, Imran ji. You have come in. God bless. We go back into the 80s. So Zoom is helping me reach out to people from 80s, my batchmate. I'm so happy. Okay, sir, that's about it. This is my lovely notes. I'm sure all of you love the way I make notes. Now, it's when expert speaks, I keep making notes. And my typing speed is good. And Hari sir was amazing today. Sir, Annie George and everybody has said thank you. Some of you all have said that, it changed my mind about US dollar, right? And best comment, this is fantastic. Even a non-finance person can understand. Some of you all have said very, very practical. Nimesh sir has passed on your regards. Thank you very much, class. Eye opener. I think that's the last point. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you very much. Namaste, all of you all. Please break for dinner. We meet on Wednesday for another super session. Thank you. I request all of you all that please pass on the word. We have nothing to gain, but you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. More importantly, please donate to the hunger movement. People are dying of hunger. Please, it starts from 200 rupees. You don't come for lectures, don't subscribe to a channel, I'm okay. Donate for hunger movement, yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's a wonderful comment. Thank you. And Dr. Vinod says, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Hey, ma'am, Shanti ma'am, they say thanks to you also. Okay, thank you.
Very much welcome.
God bless all. Thank you, Harish, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Amazing, na? Harish sir, too good. क्या clarity of thoughts है.